going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to an exciting episode, man. I don't know if y'all have seen recently, we've been on a drag here of interviewing all these class of 2024 NC State football commits, obviously starting off with Cannon Lewis, Asad Brown, and now we got our man Cedrick Bailey, 3-star / 4-star football quarterback commit. And but again, you know, Cedrick, I think we all can agree here that stars don't mean nothing. It is what it is, no big deal, man. But again, first of all, Cedrick, appreciate your time and thank you for joining us here on the show, man.
Appreciate you having me here. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. So I see you rocking that state inside and out, man.
Yeah.
For sure, man. I love it, man. And see, now we just got to get you some updated stuff with, you know, the Tuffy logo on it, instead of Black S. But hey, Black S is still a thing, OG. Man. We'll still love it, and it's OG. It'll always be around, you know. But you know, we just kind of moved away from the Stanford, connections. But anyway, Cedrick. So first of all, man, you know, kind of one of the biggest things I always love to do here is kind of talk about, kind of where it all came from. I mean, I know you're based out Florida, you know, obviously a hotbed for football players for sure. And, you know, being around, you know, Miami and Florida State, Florida, even FAU, who's really picked up a lot recently, UCF, USF, like there's just a lot of big college football down there, man.
Yeah.
So when did you first start playing, man? And then when did you fall in love with the quarterback position?
I first started playing when I was around 5, 6 years old. Of course, I was throwing the ball around in the house when I was like 3, 4 years old, but I really started playing when I was 5, 6 years old. I was actually D lineman. Then I moved the tight end. I was playing receiver. I was playing everything. But when I was 9 years old, that's my first year I played quarterback. It all came from me just throwing. I'll tell you the real story behind it. So, our receiver, Josiah Trader, I know y'all familiar with him. Number one, our receiver, he was really our quarterback when I was 9 years old. But so it was this one week he went out of town to see his family, enjoy his family and everything. So they needed a quarterback, and as like after practice, I was just throwing around with my friends, just being me, and they liked it and they took it serious. And from that day on, I became a quarterback. And my first game, my first touchdown to him, who now plays receiver, awesome. I was so happy. I actually cried like to the joy because my first touchdown, I was surprised, and ever since then, I just fell in love with playing quarterback.
That's what's up. All right, good deal. Yeah, no, man. I mean, obviously, you know, quarterback is definitely the position that's, there's a lot of good that comes with it, but there's also a lot, bad. Yeah. You know, obviously a lot of pressure. Put on the quarterback position for sure, man. But I know, especially with you, being, with your high school being, the Shaman. I'm sorry, correct me how to say it. Chaminade Madonna Prep.
Chaminade College Preparatory.
Let's go. All right. Appreciate that. Yeah, no. And I from looking back at it, there's definitely a history of success at that school for sure. And I know that you led them to a state championship your sophomore year.
Sure. Yeah, 21.
And yep, exactly. So, I mean, how's that been, in terms of, do you feel like that you honestly build off of the pressure, or was it kind of a learning curve for you?
I've actually built off of the pressure. I actually been through those big times, big moments, and since I was like in Little League. So I was used to that moment of being a starter and changing, the trajectory of everything. So being a starter and going to states my sophomore year, which I first started, it was just skipping a jump. It was easy. It's everything.
Love it. Okay, good enough. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. So your measurables, like you're 6'6", is that right? 6'6"?
Yes, sir.
Woo! Let's go.
That's a tall drink of water.
Tall drink of water. That's it. And then for folks that don't know, you're a pro style quarterback as compared to a dual threat. Looking at your numbers, and I looked at your highlight reels today. We talked about it before we got on the air here. Your arm is big, and you're dropping some dimes out there. Like, what is the one thing for you when you're out there playing quarterback that like it makes you like it just seems like on all your film you had good timing. What out there just makes it click for you?
What makes it clear is when you know that you're well protected, for one. You have a good line, you know you're well protected. You got guys around you that's going to make a play for you. And everything is so clear. And I'm used to like reading everything. And as I grow up and my senior years, everything is going to be so easy for me because I've been practicing stuff and learning new things. So it's going to be so much better and easier this year. It should be a breeze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and obviously in today's day and age of college football too, I know you know this all too well, especially even with our offense, is that most offenses want a quarterback that can run the football.
Yes, sir.
Not necessarily that needs to be a Lamar Jackson, but just somebody that if needed, that that we have to run the ball, that you can run the ball. And looking back at your stats, back last year, you ran the ball 14 times for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then your sophomore year ran 11 times for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I mean, is it that there was, because I didn't necessarily watch highlights of these runs, but I mean, was it more of just that you caught him by surprise, or because from looking at that, you're averaging 8 to 10 yards a carry here. Yeah. I'm like, okay, hey, let's multiply that.
So yeah, it was just all about just making the plays just in a moment. Most times it was really off a read option where I'll just take off if nothing open, but. Our Coach Rowe is our OC, do a good job of dialing up, calling great plays. So everyone is open. So all my receivers are going to eat. So there's really no need for me to run. If it is, I'll run, which I'll do a lot more this year.
Yeah, looking at your tape, a lot of the runs that I saw were just breakdowns of plays. Not that you were scrambling for your life, but after you had exhausted all your reads, you just pulled it and got something positive, right? And I think, as the quarterback, that's probably an important thing to look for is just don't do anything negative. Get to the next positive play. And so that looks like something that you're really focused on.
Yes, sir. That's something that Coach Herbert tell me. Always keep it even. You don't never want to lose nothing. If anything, throw it out of mouth and always try to get positive or stay even. Don't ever try to lose nothing. That's what Coach Herbert told me when I was up there in NC State. So.
Okay. And so just to kind of round off, I guess, just kind of helping our fans and followers kind of understand you and, and your prototype as a quarterback, who would you say you would most compare your game to, or maybe who has somebody else said that they would compare your game to?
Some, because of my size, it's like they used to call me like a mini like Cam, but I personally, I compare myself to Herbert because he's tall and he can run when he have to, but he's most likely going to pass it. So I compare myself to Justin Herbert. I like him a lot too. So
yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, well, and especially Cedrick. Per the stats. I don't know if you've gained since, but being 185. Yeah, maybe not necessarily Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, Justin Herbert's doing just fine in the NFL right now, man. So that is not a bad comparison to say the least. So yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna kind of go off that because Justin Herbert is one of those, like you said, he'll run, but he'll also be mobile and keep the play alive and find someone downfield. And I saw that at least 3 or 4 times on your tape. So I feel like that's a pretty fair comparison.
Mm-hmm. And then how much would you say that leadership comes into your game, Cedrick, for sure?
Leadership, it comes in a lot. So you have to have that, especially as a quarterback. And that's one thing from my sophomore year to my junior year. I was way more of a leader and way more communicative and talkative. So being a leader is a big part of being a quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and first of all, I love, because I know that might come off as, kind of like a, well, duh, but, question, but I love how quickly you answer the question. Be like, yeah, no, heck yeah. Leadership is 100% in my game. No doubt. So kind of talking a little bit, sorry, Greg, did you have anything else?
No, I was just going to just talk about his recruitment with NC State because same. Things just happened pretty quickly. You just we're filming this on April 19th, and you committed on the 13th, and right before that you had an unofficial visit. Just kind of speak to like how quick everything kind of went down for you.
Everything really happened fast. Ever since they gave me the offer. They've been talking to me even before that. They've been talking to me, communicating with me well. So even when I went up there, it showed me the most love. Like I love there. I love the atmosphere there. It was everything.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, kind of talk to me. What were some of if you had to give me kind of a list of the 3 things that really kind of in your mind kind of separate NC State of why Cedrick Bailey needs to be at NC State compared to any other school that you got offered to? What would those be?
One, it would be probably like the coaches and their ability to build a connection with me. That's like number one key thing. 2 is like I could see myself in their offense, and I could see me going in there playing the big time stage in their offense. It's perfect. It fits perfect with what I do. They like the air raid. They like to throw the ball. So that's what I like to do. And 3 is perfect. It's a perfect area downtown. Best part of the best part of North Carolina. So when I took my visit, it was great. They showed me where the kids sleep at, the players sleep at, the school. It was everything. In downtown, is all the food places. They took me like to a couple of food spots. I forget the name, but it was really good. So.
Can you tell us generally where, like, what kind of food it was? I'm very curious.
I think we already know the answer, Leighton. Let's go, but let's see if it matches.
So
I mean,
what I have, I don't remember the place, but what I had from there I actually was full. I had 10 buffalo wings with 3-4 pieces on the side of it. So it was a combination of it. I don't know what place do you think that is?
Yeah, Greg, I actually don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
were you thinking immediate?
I was thinking immediate. Did it have a bunch of NC State stuff on the walls?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Medias.
Yeah,
okay.
Medias.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think it's on campus actually. Well, it's close. It's close. It's really close. But
yep,
I forget what the name is.
Yeah,
Medias.
Yeah, probably
it's
that or
Medias,
the Players Retreat or the Brick House, something maybe like that.
Yeah, one of those. But I'd be shocked honestly if they didn't take most.
So what place was you guys thinking about?
Medios.
It's an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also serve wings there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really
good. So what you get from there?
Everything.
I mean, meat lovers calzone for me, man.
Yeah,
their calzones are ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
ridiculous,
you got I'm assuming you're going to take an official at some point.
Oh yeah. It's going to be around like June 16th.
All right. So before you do that, drop us a DM, and then if you got some downtime to go do and explore, we'll give you a few places to check out for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we got you, man. Not a problem.
But before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
But so I am curious because I know that before you visit NC State back in late 2022, you went on an unofficial visit to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know one thing that stands out to me first thing I think about when I think about Miami right now is the fact that they have a quarterback who I think is now on campus, who when he committed, he was offered over 7 figures to go play quarterback there. And I mean, like, I guess it's kind of leads into kind of 2 topics of like, I mean, just tell me like did you kind of get any of that feel when you went to Miami? Like, you know, like I don't know, man. Dude, it's just crazy for me because like you know, I feel like this applies because you know, being the ACC and you know, and Miami's been one of those teams where it's like
big spenders.
I think it's almost better for the ACC if Miami is somewhat good, but man, like you know, like they were rough last year for sure. So I mean, tell me about that visit. You know, what stood out to you about that Miami visit?
I actually go to Miami a lot because you know I'm from down in Florida, so
right.
So I go to Miami a lot. I get a good feel every time. It get even better, but when I went there, I think my last time it was like a camp. It was like for a camp.
Gotcha.
And the coaches liked me. They liked what they saw. There isn't talking about like money and nothing like that. So there was, I don't know.
Yeah.
What quarterback was you talking about with the 7 figures?
I thought he ended up leaving though. I thought.
What are you talking? Oh, I know you're talking about. I think he went to Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he go Florida?
Yeah, because because Miami fell through with the money.
Yeah.
Again, man, college sports is crazy,
insane.
man.
It's insane.
Can't keep up with it all. But yeah, let's jump back into it though. I do want to really ask you though, about Coach Anai, and obviously he joined, late, early December time, taking over for Tim Beck. Were you ever recruited by Tim Beck at all before he left NC State, or were you primarily just talking to Coach Anai and
Coach Roper,
and the other staff members?
Yeah, I was primarily talking to Coach Roper and Coach Anai. Okay. When I spoke with those guys, they had a great resume. They really great resume. So
yeah,
heck yeah.
For me, like I'm sure you're starting to dive into a little bit of the history of NC State, and some folks would call NC State QBU, with all the great, quarterbacks that have come through the program. What does that mean to you, like seeing a legacy like that and potentially being the next?
That means a lot. And now I know that NC State could produce a quarterback and get him into the league, and they could do what they can do to get me to the next level. So,
yeah. Well, and especially too, I mean, seeing a guy like Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in the NFL for a long time now. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be, a Hall of Famer to make it in the NFL and have a great career there. I mean, hey, Jacoby Brissett.
Mike Glennon had 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, had a solid career. Started, a few times, so got paid, and same thing with Jacoby. So.
I will say there's worse ways to make a living, like working an IT job 9 to 5 every day. So.
100%. So, if you had to pick a favorite NC State quarterback, could you pick one?
Phillip
right now. Yeah,
Phillip
Rivers.
It would have been Russell, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there for that long. Like he didn't stay. If he would have stayed, he would definitely been.
Yeah. No, that's an argument a lot of NC State fans will make too, that he didn't have the full commitment there. Like, people don't understand when Phillip was there, he started every single game of his college career from day one. Like that's unheard of, especially in today's day and age in college football. Very rarely will you see a true freshman come in and start from day one. Just coming off the top of my head, I don't even have one. I mean, I'm sure they're at some of the smaller schools, but I'm talking, pro.
Not even Archie Manning can go into Texas and be named the starting quarterback. So I mean,
I seen that spring game too.
Yeah, I mean that had to have been on ESPN like one.
Wait, did Bryce do it? Bryce Young, did he do it? Or no? Did he play behind someone, or did he do it?
It's a good question.
He had to have been behind somebody.
Yeah,
he had to.
Maybe Jalen Hurts. Maybe Jalen Hurts might have been a true freshman. He might have been.
Maybe.
I don't know, but that's my point, though, right?
But that's Bama. I mean, yeah.
But that's the point. You can't definitively say like, oh, this guy came in day one and was the starter. It's just the way things are structured now. A lot of these guys will either be a red shirt, or if they do play, they'll play in as an injury replacement or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. So kind of talk to me, Cedrick. About Coach Doran a little bit here. So I do want to ask you kind of two things. Kind of talk to me like general, like what was your first impression of him? And what really was his message when you spoke to him?
My first impression on Coach Doran was that he's a cool guy. He's really fun. He's the way he talked to his players, the way he communicated with everybody is really cool to me. And what was the other question?
What was his message?
What was his message? His message was that I was gonna love it there, and I was gonna make it out and be one of the top quarterbacks in the draft coming up.
Okay, I like that, and because that's one of the biggest things too. I think for a lot of fans, Cedric, and that I'm sure you know all too well is that with the transfer portal the way it is, with the NIL the way it is, that loyalty is such a tough thing these days for sure. And I know as of this recording, which is April 19th. One of the biggest things, which I think that would really be a huge, huge victory for Doran and the staff, is even though that Brandon Armstrong seems to be the presumptive starter heading into next season, that if he could convince MJ to trust the process, trust the program, trust the staff, and you're going to develop into exactly what Doran told you, you're going to develop into one of the top quarterbacks in your draft. And so I think that's so rare these days. That is so rare, unfortunately, these days. And so I mean, would you kind of say that that seeing that happen ahead of you kind of makes you think, okay, yeah, I probably won't necessarily start, necessarily my first year or something like that, but it's a long-term process.
So I trust it. I really do. I really trust the process. I trust what Coach Roper is telling me. I trust everything because I see it actually when I'm there. Actually, when there's spring practices and I was actually in their film rooms and the quarterback meet, I see it. I see Coach Roper. He's amazing. So
cool.
But with all that being said, though, Leighton, and you know this, and Cedric might know this too, you could come in as a true freshman as the number 3 quarterback, end up playing significant time because we saw it happen last year. So, so just being prepared is probably the most important thing that you can do when you get to NC State.
That's exactly how it was when I came to Chaminade. I didn't start my freshman year. I was on the bench, but I waited my time. I was ready. I got a lot of film actually on my freshman year, so it's nothing about waiting my turn and being prepared. It's nothing about that. It's just moving on.
Because also that at the same time, it helps you get better without the pressure of having to perform on Saturdays, right?
Yeah.
Like you can get bigger, stronger, smarter, more effective, and then just see the game. And so when it's your turn, it moves in slow motion, right?
Yeah.
100%. So that being said, we're going to take a pause right there, and we will continue this conversation here in part 2 of our interview here with 3/4-star quarterback commit for class 2024, Cedrick Bailey. So to make sure you do not miss out whenever we release part 2, make sure again hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out any new NC State content. Hit this like button if you enjoyed this conversation, and follow Tuffy Talk now on Twitter and Instagram. And also too, we will have all of Cedrick's links to all his social media in the description below as well. So make sure to go and give this man a follow as well. Would really appreciate that support as well. And we'll see y'all for part 2. Go Pack, y'all.